17 years later, several generations of consoles, and one game saga that all fans have been waiting for a sequel since we were children. Today, that wait is finally over. What seemed like a dream a couple of years ago is now a reality. Guys, it's a privilege and a pleasure for me to say this. Welcome to the review of Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, the return of the Budokai Tenkaichi. Guys, we have to start with this. There's a lot to cover about this game, and to honor it, we'll divide the review into two parts, just like the previous Dragon Ball Z Kakarot videos. Anyway, don't worry, because the whole month we'll have Sparking Zero for a while. Don't miss out on all the upcoming content that we'll be doing. If you're already subscribed, activate that notification bell. Go get some snacks and get ready, because the king has returned. When entering the game for the first time, it's an incredible feeling of not knowing what to do first. There's so much to explore. The design and concept handled to give dynamism to the main menu seems ideal to me, making Goku move through the different areas inhabited by his friends and companions, depending on what we're going to choose. First things first, the story mode, which here is treated as a battle episode, a section in which you will only have one main character. In this first case, Goku. The character will move through a section of scenarios in which we witness the most important fights in the series. In them, we experience what we have seen in the trailers, a sequence of dynamic in-game images that at the same time has interactive cinematics. Here you can change the camera perspective so you can choose whether you want to see the situation from a third-person point of view or first-person, in this case from Goku's point of view. Here are some examples. This element making an attempt of greater immersion for the players, a factor that sometimes seems very absent in other Dragon Ball projects. The cinematics themselves seem good to me. Not incredible, just good. In reality, they maintain a faithfulness to the designs and a very neat technical level. It has an outstanding composure with body expressions. However, it's not as brutal as it can be seen in, for example, the animations of the Ultimates, where you can notice that the work in facial expressions, shots used for choreography and visual effects are tremendous. Here, they went for something more conservative, and many times it seems like the presets of movements in random NPCs. Tell me what you think in the comments. I know I'm not the only one who noticed it. Keeping that in mind, it should be added that this is a plus for the game. Sparking Zero takes very seriously the fact of respecting almost all the most praised mechanics of the original saga, and its story mode never became so emphatic on the conflicts of the sagas in story mode. It simply gave you the situation, a few dialogues to unlock characters, and that's it. But now the bet is to pay more attention to moments of emotional tension. That's why the interactive cinematics focus a lot on dramatic moments, like Goku's sacrifice with Raditz when he himself is at the mercy of Grade A Vegeta, or his death with Cell. If you think about it, it's not a spectacular combat choreography to dazzle us as in the case of Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, in which CC2 uses its visual resources to leave us breathless in these cinematics. So it seems to me a pretty prudent decision to let the game shine with its visual aspects more than anything in the core gameplay than in its story mode. If you're tired of games being too expensive, at Instant Gaming you can buy all the games you want at an incredible price. You even have the option to get pre-orders and gift cards with a big discount. I've been using it for several years now, and here are my latest purchases to show you guys that is completely legit. Cheap, fast and safe. You can check it out in the link I leave you in the description down below. That would be a huge support for the channel. Let's get back to the video. Spike had been heavily criticized 5 years ago for the hassle-filled launch of Jump Force, and no one gave $1 for them anymore. Now, who would say that they would present this game to the world to win the trust of thousands of players again? Life has many turns, but well, you can choose different protagonists as you get to know characters in the story, and each one will have different scenarios to show you, with the same perspectives and dramatic approaches. But that's not all. Decisions change everything. These choices that are usually made at the beginning of the episodes can change the course of the story dramatically, and those no longer represent a canon story that we all know, but a completely alternative one. A series of hypothetical situations that end up showing very interesting what-ifs, which I will refrain from showing you in much detail and avoid spoilers. Additionally, the difficulty of the CPU is impressive. You put it on a high difficulty and it completely wipes the floor with you. I like that the CPU has this level. It's really difficult and executes the techniques in unpredictable ways, putting you to the very limit. For those who are looking for a challenge, this is great. With that said, the battle episodes offer more hours of gameplay than it may seem, if you want to see all the possibilities the alternate scenarios offer. The graphics of the game, I consider them a defender of its promotional image. It looks and plays very fluid, neat, and dazzling. Unreal Engine 5 incredibly highlights the character designs and makes every transformation from Kaioken to Ultra Instinct, from Giants to Super Saiyan, from key auras to metamorphosis, all look attractive and you don't be left with nothing to see for many hours. I had my reservations from the first time they announced this, showing the reveal teaser, but now that I've been able to play it firsthand, I can say that it looks beautiful. Not only talking about the characters, also about the scenarios and the aesthetics handled for the HUD. You know, there's a title from the year 2000 called Vagrant Story. This was promoted and sold as one of the games that would take the graphic capabilities of the PlayStation 1 to the very limit. An RPG with real-time actions that had a gameplay, let's say, good for the time, but its biggest selling factor was the visual and artistic section. Something like that happens to me with Sparking Zero. Only that this has the advantage of completely adapting an already all-known game system from the PlayStation 2, loved by the players. A game that first hooks you through the eyes, like, hey, how nice it looks, and then you play it and say it plays even better. This can also be seen as those demos that constantly come out in Unreal Engine 5 with photorealistic graphics, or what would be a hypothetical remake in mythical games like the first Halo, or Kickstarter projects that are promoted through these demos, showing a level of detail that is already scary, telling you, look what can be achieved with these advances. When I look at Sparking Zero, I realized that they were not just promises. In the end, it looked as good as it promised. The soundtrack is a delicate issue, because although the themes and atmosphere of the base game are of good quality, I mean, it's nothing out of this world, but let's say that for this game saga that had always presented an OST so iconic for all of us, something more was expected. On the other hand, I don't agree with putting the music pack as additional downloadable content. One that includes songs like Chala Het Chala and We Got a Power, and also a second music pack that includes songs like Dan Dan, Solid State Counter, the Dragon Ball Super Broly theme, and more. In that case, they are leaving out content that could be appreciated by many fans and wouldn't reach their experience, but in the end, it's behind a paywall. We had a similar case with Naruto Storm Connections and its songs from the anime openings. Between special editions of the game, you may agree or disagree with me, but I don't dislike that most of the advantages that the Ultimate Edition gives compared to the Deluxe Edition, for example, are not so pronounced. I mean, those who bought the base edition will have the same chances of having the advantages that the Ultimate Edition offers early by just playing the game. There are other players that consider a skin for Goku is practically nothing for the big difference in price that the Ultimate Edition has, and of course I agree with them. But in the end, it's a system that I consider rewards the one who plays the most and not the one who pays the most. Now we move on to a game mode that I was really expecting to comment on, split screen. Something that a lot of people demanded when the game was at the pre-launch state. This is linked to the fact of how much Spike Chunsoft was willing to bring back so many things from the original mechanics, because of course the gameplay was perfectly adapted to a new generation without changing anything, just improving what already existed. You can literally play as if it was the PlayStation 2 Tenkaichi, but with better graphics, and the actions, combos and techniques come out in the same way. It's something I've never felt before with other games. This is called fidelity, respecting the classic formula. Of course, it's not like they had any other option. The fans of these games are known for being very passionate, but at the same time demanding with their nostalgic perspective of this kind of things, and they can become very defensive with the topic. In the end, the split screen was implemented thanks to all the people who were asking for it. It's not possible to have a new Tenkaichi in which you can't play local multiplayer, so to fix this, they had to make this mode only possible in one specific stage, one that doesn't have to render so many elements in the environment, the time chamber. According to Furutani, the game's producer, in order to maintain the essence of the fighting but removing the scenography. We already knew this for several months, so it didn't affect us that much, at least they were being transparent, and after testing it firsthand, the game runs great in this mode. It's exactly what was expected from a split screen for this game. The most OG fans will be able to play and put together their challenges with their friends at home, just like they did in the good old days. Let's see the tournament mode, one that had me excited. You can choose from many of the old tournaments from the saga, like the World Tournament, Yamcha Games, the Cell Games, etc. Each one has conditions like time limits, number of characters in a team, and so on. But they also add the Tournament of Power, one in which the specific condition of not flying called a lot of attention. But in the end, it's simply as if all the characters became humans who can't fly, like Kid Goku, Master Roshi, and so on. It doesn't feel that different. But anyway, it works very similar to the traditional way. When you win the tournament, you win an amount of Zeni and an additional reward. Here, for example, we unlock Kid Goku, and so it varies depending on the tournament you conquer. And of course, it also depends on the difficulty you choose. Although there are very few participants in the Tenkaichi Budokai, I must say. One victory and you're already in the semi-finals. What calls my attention are the possibilities of doing custom tournaments both online and locally. The conditions can be modified to your preference. Are there any tournaments coming up with subscribers? Let me know if you guys would be interested. This would conclude the first part of this review, and don't worry because we will talk in depth about the fighting mechanics, the innovations, and the online experience in the next chapter. There's a lot to explore in Sparking Zero, a lot of characters, and I know that like many of you, we are being children again with this game. That was all for today, guys, and I'll be seeing you in the second part. Take care and see ya.